I am back with another video. If this is your first time tuning in, number one, thank you for tuning in. Number two, welcome to Encouragement and Empowerment with your girl Kia. If you have been tuning in for a very long time since I started, I just want to always tell you thank you. I appreciate you every time you come and you support. It's not about the number. And I always tell people that it's not about the number, but it's just about the support and the appreciation that is shown. I think appreciation goes a very long way, and just to see the amount of people who are tuning in, who are being touched, that's all that matters for me. As long as you being touched and God is being seen and not me, I'm all for it, you know. So we're gonna get right into the video. I do have a few announcements. I have a few announcements. In April 24th, mark your calendars. Part 2 of the Sisterhood Luncheon will be coming back, y'all. I'm going to be posting the flyer real soon. I got my little editor working on it. He's such a phenomenal person. Just want to shout him out real quick. He's been doing a great job. He's been supporting me since day one. And he said, whatever you need, I got you. And I think he's only 15 years old. And he has my back completely. But I just wanted to make that announcement. The Sisterhood Luncheon will be coming April 24th. So y'all mark y'all calendars. This isn't an invite for everybody. I ain't sending no individual invite, because everyone is invited. If you hear this, if you see the flyer, you are invited. So we're gonna get straight into the video. I have a few questions for y'all today. First question is, how many people have experienced disappointment from someone or something? I'm gonna let that register for a little bit. How many people have experienced disappointment from someone or something? That's the first question. Let's think about it. Second question, how many people have experienced or had a high expectation for someone or something? Let me rephrase that. How many people have had a high expectation for someone or something? Now, this someone or something could be a family member. It could be your husband. It could be your wife. It can be your best friend. It could be somebody, your child. It can be a church. It could be anything. I want us to think about everything. Disappointment and high expectation. How many people have experienced that? I know I can raise both of my hands, my feet, if I really needed to. But I want to kind of like just stay on that topic, because it's so funny. I've been seeing expectation everywhere I turn around. So I was like, I'm gonna have a conversation with y'all about that, because it's so easy. And I think this is where disappointment come in at, is when people have such a high expectation for people. For example, I have a high expectation of my husband that I know, this is just an example, not saying he did it. I have a high expectation for him that he gonna read, he gonna do homework with my daughter, he gonna do that. But when I come home, ain't none of that done. Or vice versa, he has a high expectation of me, and when he come home, ain't none of it done. And it causes disappointment, because it's like, I expected for you to do that. I trusted you. And let me tell you, I looked up the word expectation. Hold on one second, let me get my book. I looked up the word expectation. Expectation or expectance means a strong belief that something will happen. Something will happen or be the case in the future. So something or someone will either come through or something will happen. Now, Lord, be with me on this, because I really do feel this expectation. Expectancy. Let's go to the Bible. Let's go to the word. Let's do that. And when I was reading, I had looked through Matthew. I started looking at the parables, because most of the parables that you read, in each parable, you will see that there was an expectation. You have to expect something in order to get it. Expectation also has a lot to do with cause and effect. So I was reading Matthew 13, verses 31 through 52, but I'm just kind of like skim through them. So Matthew 13:31 says, he told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and planted in his field. Though it is the smallest of all seeds, yet when it grows, it is the largest of garden plants and becomes a tree so that the birds come and perch in its branches. Yo, when I read that, I was like, wow. I imagined a tree growing, like just growing before my eyes, and I could just see the birds land on it. That's an expectation I have in my mind. I expect that if I plant, y'all, I'm finna take it there. I have an high expectation that if I plant this seed, this mustard seed, which, come on, you coming, God, you coming through? Come on through, come through my house. Listen, if you have a high expectation in God, that seed, that faith, that mustard seed that God has given you, when you plant that seed on good ground, now I ain't talking about no other ground. When you plant that seed on good ground, you got to understand what's going to be birthed, what's going to be lifted up, what's going to be, for example, my husband, he has a business idea that he's trying to come up with. He has to plant that seed on good ground. Because when that thing rolls and that business starts to expand, y'all, it's hitting me. It's hitting me. Oh my God. Listen, we plant our mustard seed is the faith. That's the word. That's what it says. God said you have the size of a mustard seed faith. Things can happen. So our mustard seed is this small. Y'all know I like to zoom in. Our mustard seed is this small. That mustard seed that we have, we're going to plant this faith. Plant this faith in good ground, right? So step 1, step 2, plant it. Number 3, what we got to do now? We got to wait. We got to trust this process. Now, along the way, are you going to have expectation for people? No. Along the way, are you going to have expectation for material things? No. Why? Because that seed that we planted, if we planted it on good ground, the good ground is God. So being that I planted my seed in good ground, 1, 2, step 3 is we wait patiently. Another thing, this is all in step 3. Wait patiently. You stay in God's word. You trust the process. Do you understand the patience it takes to wait for grease to get ready? When you just want to eagerly cook, but it just takes time because the grease is just getting hot and you have to wait. And if you put it in at the wrong time, it's hit me, y'all. When you put it in at the wrong time, it don't fizz. You know that little fizz? Shh, I gotta hear it. It don't fizz. It don't go nowhere. So what you gotta do? You gotta take. Come on, y'all. I'm about to run throughout this house. You gotta take the chicken back out because it's the why not? The grease is not ready. So listen, I said that to say this. My thing is, if you're planting if I can't get it out, it's so good. If you are looking to plant your mustard seed faith on your ground, you're gonna have to dig that back up and start over again. If you're looking to plant your seed on your husband's ground, you're gonna have to dig that back up again. If you're looking to plant your seed on a ground of family, friends, loved ones, job, bills, expectations, you're gonna have to dig that back up. Listen, it's hitting me. But if you plant your seed on good ground with the expectation coming from God, not man, not the devil, not your enemy, and that goes to say this: you can't put your energy into people that don't look. If you don't want to have nothing to do with me, I'm cool with it. It's still people. It's people that I don't know. It's people that probably don't like me. I don't even know it. That has something against me, and I don't even know it. But what? I'm still gonna pray for you. I'm still gonna lift you up. I'm still gonna ask God to bless you. Why? Because I can't go to bed. Don't let the sun. My bishop preached a message. Don't let the sun go down on your wrath. And it's so important, because if I let the sun go down my wrath because my husband, I'm mad at my husband, anything can happen. Anything can happen. And me and my husband, I always push my husband. I tell him, babe, we have came a long way. Back then, an argument would have lasted about 2 weeks. Now, okay, well, we went wrong. What happened? But see, I can put my expectation and say, okay, look, I know we're going to patch this up. Right now, you just need to breathe. I need to breathe. But I planted what makes, this is so good. What makes a marriage stay together, what makes a friendship relationship stay together, what makes family stay together is when you plant your seed on good ground. Now, let's go back to it, right? We plant our seed on good ground, right? So now we waiting for, this is the process. Then guess what, y'all? Our mustard seed, listen, the growth that we get from that mustard seed growing, that's how, when it grows tall, because that's what the word say, when it grows tall, that's our faith growing. That's our promise growing. That's the strength that God gives us. That's our love growing. What is your tree doing right now? What kind of tree you building? What kind of tree you building? Are you building a wicked tree? Are you building an evil tree? Are you building an animosity tree? Are you building a faithful tree? Are you building a joyful tree? What is your tree building when it comes along with your mustard seed faith? See, cause I'm just gonna keep talking about this because I want this to sink in. And I'm gonna get it on all levels. Let's go to the singles. And I know most people say, "Oh, you can't tell me nothing because you married." I've been single, and I would say this. I actually talked to my other god sister about this, and I asked her the question because I said it could be so easy to assume, "Oh, you'll be all right. You could do it." I never say that to nobody because I don't know how you feel. Your walk through the single life is totally different from mine. So I can't say, oh, it's easy. You know what I'm saying? So I asked her the question. I said, why? I said, what encouragement will you give a single person? And this is her words she said. Because I said, I want to know what it's like to experience, being single. I haven't been single for like 8 years. So what is your experience like being single? What would you say to the women that are single? These was her words. Find yourself. Find out who you are. Now, finding who you are, you don't think it's a process? I could say with me being married, I have to go back sometimes to the place to find myself. Because sometimes I get caught up in being a mom. I get caught up in being a friend. I get caught up in being a sister. I get caught up in being an auntie, being a wife. But guess what? I still have to find out who I am. She made such a great point. I said, wow, I would have never looked at it like that. Right? So I was sitting there and I was like, for a single person, their expectations is to be married. Some single people don't want to be married, and that's cool. But some single women or single men, they have the expectations to be married. But guess what? We're going to go back to the tree. What are you building your tree on with? Now, if you ain't got no faith, that little tree ain't gonna build. I want this to sink all the way in. Because I can actually vision, I can see the tree, my tree. I'm gonna speak for my tree. And I can actually see myself keep digging up a tree because I'm trying to plant it the way I want to plant it. And I'm not allowing God to come in and plant and teach me how to plant. Because sometimes you got to pray and say, God, in the word it says, God, teach me. He said to the disciples, teach me how to pray. I go to the point where I said, God, teach me how to pray. Teach me how to study. Teach me how to be a better mom, a better wife. I say that because I am not perfect. I will never be perfect. I want to build my foundation on a good ground. That way with my children, everything connected to me, I will teach my daughter. Look, I envision this. I can see this, y'all. I see my daughter planting her tree her mustard seed at a young age. I can see her tree growing. So by the time she turned 15, her faith is bigger than this apartment. It's taller than this. And that's how some of us have to get. We have to keep pushing for the sake of our children. Some of y'all children look up to y'all. I can tell you right now, my daughter, everything she see me do, she do it. So guess what? I learned that when she was 1 year old, I got to be careful. Because I don't want her to reenact or do things that I do, and then she get in public, and then look, where you heard that at? You know what she heard it at. And I when I first realized that when she turned 1, I said, okay, now my expectations gotta shift. Because I said I cannot put my expectations in a man. I can't put my expectation in friends, family. My expectation has to remain in God. And I kid you not. This is the last thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to shut this down. I kid you not. When you put your expectation, when you have high expectations for God, you would never be disappointed. And I mean never. They say never say never. But when you put your expectation in God, never will you ever have a disappointment. You may feel disappointed, but that's your flesh. God would never allow you to be disappointed. God's grace and his mercy is enough. I ain't disappointed. I shouldn't have woke up this morning. A roof over my head. You think that was me? No. My daughter being protected. You think that was me? No. You have to think about stuff like that. When you have expectations in God, you will never be disappointed. I'll leave this with y'all today. Plant your seed on good ground. Good ground. Number 1, plant mustard seed. Number 2, plant your seed on good ground. Number 3, trust the process. Number 4, wait patiently. Number 5, watch it grow. Stay tuned for more videos. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and comment. Y'all be blessed. Stay prosperous. Stay tuned for more videos. Encouragement.